first year and second year, I was saying, in fact, first year, I was saying I'm going to graduate with first class. I'm going to do this and do that. First semester, I get carry over. After crying, I was like, it doesn't work, just going to 9th class. I was going to 9th class.
Are you doing like you?
I was going to 9th class with veterinary students. Imagine vet students, they're jack, hey? Me, I will not go with them reading. Sometimes I will even go to 9th class, sleep up, I wake up, my neck is paining me and everything. I'm like, social studies is a very nice course. Though people see it as one of the useless courses, somebody who can waste their time in university. But I, for one, I wasn't prepared for what it was about until I stepped into the university. Saying I just went online, and then when I was registering for UNN, I just clicked on social science education. Without even knowing what it was about. I just wanted to be surprised when I get there. So I was surprised when I came for post-UTME. I found out I was shifted to social studies education. I didn't know there were other units there. So when I started, at first it was exhausting because as a social studies student, you have to borrow courses from different departments. Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Physical Sciences. You go to social sciences major, borrow courses, even mass communication. So it was tiring. At the point I wanted to give up, like
because of the stress, academic
workload.
The
stress, like we were not prepared for what we were seeing. And most people in my class were just people that couldn't get admission in their course of choice, and then they were just pushed there. So everybody was reluctant and nonchalant about it. Like,
no passion.
It's just something simple. But to tell you the truth, by the time we wrote 1 or 2 tests, everybody buckled up. Then our department made a promise to the best graduating students. A certain amount of money will be given and a job opportunity, all these kind of things. So we were zealous, wanted to meet up. Social studies is just a course that has to do with man and his environment in layman's understanding, but it's way more than that. You learn about international socio-cultural activities, local and within the nation, different ethnic groups. You learn things like how culture affects our economy as a country, how it affects our day-to-day living, how man interacts with his environment. To just put it in a simple term, you say it's a study of man and his environment and the resources and how man utilizes these resources for his own benefit. So, but if you ask a normal student in UNN, do you know what social studies is about? You say it's a study of family, like man, wife, and the children, because that was what we were taught in primary school. So everybody grew up with that, but that's not what social studies is about. In international communities, social studies is a very lucrative course. Like when you study it, it's just like studying history. It's just like studying sociology, philosophy, because under social studies, you lay hands on different parts of the social sciences. Our lecturer will always say a social studies student knows everything about something and something about everything. Because you are exposed to different courses, different fields of, Imagine me studying natural science. I can proudly say that there is no course you will call now, even if it's medicine. I know my way around. I may not know the chemicals and their components or the formulas, but I know what it does because
you have an idea of what
I have an idea of everything. I'm not bragging. So I've had conversation with learned people and they ask me, what course did you study? I'll be like, I studied social studies. I'll be like, which one is social studies? You talk like a medical student. I'm like, no, I did social studies. So they say, you're supposed to be a law student. I'm like, I did social studies. Because in social studies, you study the Nigerian constitution. You learn a whole lot of things. So
the way you just described it sounds like a very demanding course.
Yeah, it's supposed to be demanding, but here in Nigeria, especially University of Nigeria, they don't value it. But when you go to these colleges of education, go to institutes of learning, like Peaceland College of Education, social studies is a course of high value.
What was your activities like as a typical student, like a typical day of a social studies student in university?
Some days are fun, some days are not fun. Those days that you have to go to different departments, like you can be in Faculty of Education learning Edu 112 or something. Then they tell you we have a class at HPE. You have to go and join them in their physical activity at stadium. Then they tell you mass comm people just fix the lecture. You have to rush and come to mass comm department to do something with them. It was tiring, but when days that is just mainly pure social studies courses that we are doing, it's fun. Like there's this activity we engage in called island hooping. We move from one place to another, trying to see things, find problems, solve them. We go to the field. We can go to primary schools, try to engage them in fun activities, making them know that as a social studies student, I am being trained to become a teacher in future. I can work anywhere, but then mostly whatever I'm doing is how to raise children and make them responsible people in the society. So you have to like teach them love, teach them how to fit into the environment. Social study will find those things, those activities that young people engage in. We call them juvenile delicacies. Then we find solutions to them, and then we try to start from the grassroots and stop those delicacies from coming up in the future. So we go out for field work, meet children, even meet adults, talk to them how to handle children in their care and all those things. So social study generally is fun and not fun too.
So at what point do you guys go for that field work? Is it in your first year, second year, or?
Island hooping, we started it in first year. Then the field work started in second year. I think second semester, second year. That's when we started doing our teaching practice and field work. Go to different places and engage in different activities. Sometimes we even go to banks, because there was a course we offered at one point. I think that was in third year, first semester. We did finance and financial institutions. That was purely accounting and economic activities. So we go to banks, try to stay with them for a certain period of time, learn how they do their activities. They can even teach us with their computer, spreadsheet and everything that is concerned. We just get to learn, then come back, bring reports back to our lecturers, use our logbook and compile some experiences that we got. Then sometimes we also, we are called to come and talk about our daily activities in front of our classmates. So
what are the other job opportunities that are available for graduates of this
social
course?
studies, apart from being a teacher, because it's social studies education, so it's assumed you are being trained to teach. We can work in the administrative arm of any organization. You can decide to become a lawyer. You just have to go and do a few months or a few years course under law. If you want to go directly with your degree, you can just start from second year, read law purely. But if you want to, you can do it for a few years and just switch over to law. Then you can work, as I said, in any administrative office. You can also establish your own school. You must not necessarily be a teacher. You can establish your own school. Then you can become a politician. It's a job opportunity because social studies is just like government.
And to help you in policies because you have idea of a lot of things.
Yes, social studies is purely government and civic education. So you can, there are varieties of opportunities. If you decide to go and work as a lab technician, you will just do a few months training, because under natural sciences we were taught a whole lot of things about the organisms in the environment, the harmful ones and the beneficial ones. Now, for students who are curious, you can go and do more researches to get more enlightened, but if you leave it solely on the course outline, probably you wouldn't have enough knowledge. And I know some people that started with us in first year, after having a few years or few months knowledge in what social studies were about, it gave them the inspiration of going to find more things to do with themselves. I know about 2 or 3 persons that they were reading social studies and also are doing law. One is doing a medical course, I don't really know, but she's also doing social studies. So she's trying to combine both of them. I don't know how that works for her, but then she felt like she needed the exposure from both of them.
So as a student, were you involved in any extracurricular activities, maybe side also, something like that?
I was involved in a whole lot of extracurricular activities. I involved in social cultural activities, like I was a member of the Ohanes and Igbo Students Wing of UNN. I have my own business. I run a catering and baking business. My business name is Mama's Delights. I cook, I bake. I think from my second year, I am kind of popular among the lecturers and students. I won't say the whole school, but my faculty as a whole, yes. Because every morning I come to school with my bucket of cake and chin-chin and peanuts. I take orders. Yes, I make them by myself. People try to ask me, how do I combine this with going to school? Like, there's always time for something once you want to do it. I went to parties, though. I'm always there.
Social events.
Yes, I'm a social studies student, and social studies is about socializing, getting to know your environment. Don't just pass through the school, let the school pass through you. So those experiences. So I also go to sports. So
catering is a very stressful and demanding work itself. So did it have any negative impact on your academics?
Did it? No, it didn't. So far, so good. I graduated with a very nice result, so I won't say
Okay.
it did have any negative impact on my
Okay,
studies.
okay. So you're able to like combine everything
I was
and do
able to combine
academically.
everything.
Was there anything like any advice you give a student that wants to maybe go into something like that and combine with the academics?
Yeah, the only advice I would give is find what works for you.
Okay.
Because this person was engaged in business and graduated with good result does not mean you will graduate with good result if you combine business. Some people don't even know how to do businesses. I think our inspirations for something or aspiration for something comes from a drive somewhere.
Okay.
If it's in education, we call it motivation. It could be external or internal. Your motivation to become a business student could be because at home things are not well. Could be finances. Could be just pure fun of it. For me, I started cooking as just fun because I started cooking as when I was in primary school.
Wow.
And then I found out everybody liked my meal. Anybody that knows me can confirm that I don't cook rubbish. So since people like this, why don't I just monetize it?
Okay.
Getting money from my passion.
Yeah, from your passion. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So, and I found a way to combine both religious activities, social-cultural ones, social activities, and my academics and business. And it worked for me.
Wow.
So as a student, find what works for you. Because everybody's doing business does not mean you have to do it. And because everybody's not doing business does not mean you don't have to do it. Just find what works for you and flow with it.
So what was your study strategy in school? Are you a ninth person or you read during the day?
In my first year, they said, there's this thing they told us on our, what is it called? Orientation. They say, when others are sleeping, I will be walking.
Okay.
When others are walking, I will be running. When others are running, I will be flying. When others are flying, then I will be the ultimate standard.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if you get anything out of that, but my own is when others are walking, I think I'll be the one sleeping. Then when they are now sleeping, I'll start working.
Okay.
So I found out that I'm not this person that needs to read too much. I just have to do my assignments, attend lectures, pay rapt attention to whatever is being taught. Once I take notes, jot things, I don't even need to study the material too much. I will understand. I think that's a blessing God gave me. Once I'm there, I just need to remember the joke, the simple questions the lecturer was making and asking in the hall. Then during exam time, if I'm able to read just a little, I'll grasp. I think I have this long-term memory, which is I can remember things from a long time. But if I'm waiting for when timetable come out, I'll come and start reading all those things. It doesn't work. What I just do is I come to class, take notes, collect materials. When I get home that day, any small opportunity I have, I try to go through that day's thing, and that is it. I don't attend night class. I was going to library, let's say my first year and second year, I stopped. But from second year, after the strike that they did in 2019, the moment I got back, I changed, I re-strategized. I had to make everything fit in because all work and no play make a dull boy. First year and second year, I was saying, in fact, first year, I was saying I'm going to graduate with first class. I'm going to do this and do that. First semester, I get carryover. After crying, I was like, it doesn't work, just going to 9 class. I was going to 9 class.
Are you doing like you?
I was going to 9 class with veterinary students. Imagine vet students, they're jack, hey? Me, I will now go with them reading. Sometimes I will even go to 9 class, sleep, I wake up, my neck is paining me and everything. I'm like, why should I be doing that? When if I'm at home, the time I use in reading is the same time I spend if I'm reading in the hall. Why don't I just stay at home? At least if I want to sleep, I can lie at the comfort of my bed. When it's time to do another thing, I will also do. But if I'm in 9 class, even when I'm tired of reading, I will just have to be forced to stay there.
Yes.
But then I found out that how it works for me is during our free periods in school, maybe our lecture time starts by 7 a.m. It's usually 7 a.m., 7 o'clock class. So by 6, you have to be in school. 7 a.m., 8 to 9, we have class. 10 to 11, we have class. 12 to 1, we don't have class. That 1 hour, I'll carry my book to the library. Just read a little or do research. If there's any assignment that was given to us, I'll do it. Then 2 o'clock, when lecture starts, I'll go back and go and attend to other things I need to do, like classes. Then I think at some point, I had a reading group. But then this reading group, me and them, we weren't on the same level. They're always apt on reading, like they want to read. Read. It's not my thing. Because let us read smaga and find something to do. Now, even if it's ice cream, let us find where the party is at. Because if I'm focusing on book, I'll break down. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, it's just all about understanding yourself.
Yeah, just know what works for you and do it. Don't try to do what others are doing.
All right, thank you very much so far.
Thank you.
So generally, what advice would you give to students that is aspiring to get admission into the university for social studies and maybe for other courses?
I think in my 5 to 6 years in the university, what I came to understand is every one of us here, we have our motivation for being here.
Okay.
Some are in school because they want to really make something out of life through being educated. Some are just here because their parents force them. Some are here because everybody is doing it. Then some are here because it's a basic necessity.
You just have to go to school.
You just have to
After
go to
secondary
school.
is
If not,
admission.
it's like you don't belong.
Okay.
But my own advice is, as I mentioned before, find what works for you. All of us must not succeed in education. But if you insist that you're going to come to school, take it serious, especially UNN. UNN is not a child's play. You think your brother is in Umudike and he still has time to go to parties. When you come here, UNN will not give you time for anything, especially for business. It will not give you that time. So, know what you came for. Focus on it and make sure at the end of the day you come out with something positive.
Okay.
Because students come here and a whole lot of things happen. Some of them drop out. Some of them get pregnant along the way. While trying to what others are doing, some of them lose their lives.
Okay.
So, and also whatever you are doing, don't leave the God factor out.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you have God, everything will work for you.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So, is there any memorable experience you had in school?
I have plenty memorable experiences. I told you, my friends know me, I am the life of the party. Anywhere, if it's in church, if I go to church, I'm the hype woman.
Okay.
If you come to cultural things, I'm also a hype woman. If you come to school things, I'm also a hype woman. So anywhere I am, everything is fun. My most memorable experience should be the day of my sign out. Yes, at least that day.
After your final papers?
Yes, after my final. That's the most memorable. They were nice memories, but that was my most memorable day because a whole lot of things happened. I didn't know I could get to that point because I said earlier that at some point I wanted to drop out. Everything, finances, life, experiences, everything just made me tired. I was like, I need to just stop. Even if it's the fight for 1 year, go and figure myself out and know if I really want to continue with this. But on that day of my final paper, when I entered the hall, it was a CBT exam. Everything was rushing so fast that I don't even know what I wrote. But when I came out, I saw some people were crying, some were jubilating. I was like, why will I choose to be on the sad side when I can actually be happy and leave everything for God? I've done my best. So if I cry from now to tomorrow, it won't change what I wrote. When results come out, you face it head on. Whatever happens, happens. But we came out, my classmates, after everything, we were able to find ourselves. The DJ came, we sang, we danced, we went out for an after party. Everybody was happy. Then people that felt like you and them had an issue, we were trying to apologize to each other, making promises that when we make it in life, we'll not forget people that we started with and all those things. So me sitting back to reminisce on that day, I think it was a very memorable one because I got different lessons. People are not really what you think they are and all those things. So it's a memorable one, and the best because I learned both good and bad lessons from it.
Wow. That must have been really emotional for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So lastly, what are the plans for the future?
The plans for my future? There are so many plans, but right now, I am starting with going for my National Youth Service Corps. After that, I'm going to decide where I want to base. I'm going to go fully into my baking business. I already have a brand that is registered with CAC and SMIDAN, small and medium enterprises. As Mima's Delights. We bake. I wouldn't say I've made much name, but I think in the baking business, I've set a standard for myself. And if I continue with this experience and financial support, I am going to get there in no time. I will not just be a household name. I'm going to be a national and international name. Yes. So after that, if there is an opportunity for a master's program, I'm going to take it either in the country or outside the country because as an educationist, learning never ends. It's a continuous process. The only day it ends is the day you die. Life experience is the learning process. Reading your book is a learning process. So I'm going to continue reading. Probably along the line someday, I'm going to become a lecturer because I would like to impact in others the knowledge I have learned in an educational way, like under an institution. It must not be just passing by and then you inspire them or pass on your knowledge to them.
Wow, that is really, so far I've been inspired. So thank you very much. I think that will be all for now.
Thank you.
Really appreciate for being with us this afternoon.
Okay.
All right.